let's think from first principles. So there are humans and we have a brain and we use that to create things. So that's been the fundamental way in which things got created. Now, if humans wanted to not use their time or their mind and create some things, they would call it outsourcing. You're still outsourcing it. You're transferring that thinking and the time to other people, employees, subcontractors, consulting companies, you name it. So that's typically how things functioned. And there were things like you didn't want to walk, so you got a horse, smart. And then you found that the car is faster. Then you found that the train is even faster. And then the plane is even faster. And the rocket is even faster. So you used your mind to start creating these things. And then something started happening. We went digital. The internet wave came to us and we started realizing, my God, car did not come as a fad and go away and horse came back. Car stayed. So it was the same thing with the telephone did not come and go away, it stayed. Cell phone did not come and go away, it stayed. Internet did not come and go away, it stayed. The mobile phone did not come and go away, it stayed. We found that useful technology tends to go global and grow faster and faster. And it is a one-way street because it just makes things so much more efficient. You could not beat the telephone with either a horse or a train in terms of ability to talk instantly with somebody at a low cost. So impossible to beat that. And then, okay, we get that. Internet communication. It's not just being able to talk, but you can see people, you can message them, you can have documents that you co-write, you're working together. And then mobile was a form factor. You could take this whole power and put it in your pocket. It's with you 24/7. You could have fun with it. You could play games and all of that. And then along the way, the amount of data, the digital stuff, amount of stuff that we did digitally, we used to call it digitization, computerization, which meant that in fact, they were also calling it atoms to bits. So because when you moved something that was in atoms, such as a piece of paper, and made it digital, instantly economics changed dramatically. So digitization of information started happening, data started coming through. And of course, there are problems like data integrity, data correction, recognition. I'm not saying this was without problems, but for the first time, we had data that was online and it could be gathered phenomenally well. Data started coming. And then behind the scenes, because of gaming, we did not know there's this one company called NVIDIA, which was designing these chips and TSMC was manufacturing them. And together, they were coming up with these gaming chips that were getting faster and faster and faster and faster. So AI algorithms have been around. As a matter of fact, I did my PhD in AI in 1987 to 1990. People say, really? AI was there? Yes, we had the algorithms, the machine learning, unsupervised, supervised learning, pattern recognition, clustering algorithms. So a lot of this work was all beginning to happen in those days. Conceptual memory, we used to call it. How do you organize a computer memory by using human memory as an analogy and all kinds of crazy stuff. And just like the Kodak moment, Kodak camera invented digital camera, but it was extremely low resolution and it kept doubling. As I say, the technology kept doubling in its resolution and abilities every couple of years, over and over and over and over again. So boring, so slow, Kodak ignored it. And then came the digital camera and digital era, and Kodak completely missed it and went bankrupt. It's almost like that. As things started doubling, the algorithms started getting more powerful, more and more data started coming, it started going exponentially, and then chips started becoming more and more powerful. So finally, this, and of course, the general purpose transformer, the matrix multiplication to predict the next token was a game-changing invention, so to speak, that came about. And then these chips, gaming chips, funnily, were doing this matrix multiplication extremely fast. And suddenly, what we used to call as the Turing test. If you put a machine in one room and a person in another room and ask the same question and they both give the answer, can you tell which one is which? I think that problem got convincingly solved in December of 2022 or whenever close to that, when ChatGPT finally put a chat on top of their GPT, the general purpose transformer, and released it. And lo and behold, we suddenly have this technology wherein you can type and magic happens. So here, for the first time, we started seeing, oh my God, this can create stuff. First of all, it can start learning not just one brain, but multiple humans' brains. It started having greater power. And pretty soon, they're predicting that it'll have the brain of all mankind. So can you start imagining now it is like maybe a brain, a few brains, and pretty soon it'll be the power of the entire human race. And that is getting more and more powerful exponentially. So that is happening on one hand. Not only is it learning fast, but it is also becoming a creator. So it can now start ideating, it can start combining ideas, it can start writing books, creating videos. Sure, the human brain can still be there behind the scenes orchestrating these things. But for the first time, AI started making the things that humans were making. This SaaS software as a service. And that was a big wave for years and years and years. Now that software can be created, for example, by AI. There are many of the tools that were out there and they can be created like company like Duolingo, which is used to learn languages. Now you can sit in front of AI and ask it to teach it to you like Duolingo. Grammarly, you can just ask AI to say, correct my grammar, and it will do that. So you can start naming DocuSign. You can start naming company after company after company, wherein you can sit down, maybe it'll take some time, depending upon what you're doing, which tools you're using, etc. But it does not take raising $1 million and putting a team together and building it for several months. You literally have reduced the cost of building in terms of time and money and resources. It has become so minuscule that suddenly you're able to release these SaaS software. And in the past so many years, the cost of building software has been coming down. And in the beginning, we would say, oh, ideas have no value. It's all execution. That means execution is another word to say building is the highest value. If you build it, and then maybe it's 80% of the value and 20% was customer acquisition, etc., assuming that you already got traction for your idea. And now the equation has shifted. Maybe it's 20% and reducing fast is how hard it is to make the product. Then if the execution is no longer a problem, where does the value shift to? It's distribution. The value has suddenly shifted to distribution and marketing, sales, ability to influence people. All of those become more and more valuable. We have never had something like this happen. And now if you start transitioning this over to Tesla, we have seen Tesla. Is Tesla a car or is it a robot on wheels? Is it constantly learning from each mile that it aggregates? Is it getting better over time? Is there a robot taxi that can run by itself pretty soon? And did they then realize, oh, why robot on wheels? Why not robot on feet? Because if you look at a country like Japan, they're estimating that the number of robots there will exceed the number of people, because the number of people that are above a certain age is higher than any, ratio-wise, higher than any other country in the world. So there's just simply not enough young humans that can support these elderly people in Japan. That's a place where you need humanoids. And that's the reason why Tesla said instead of producing 4 different cars, we'll produce 2 of them and dedicate the remaining 2 towards humanoids. And now you can go on and on. Drones for laying cables, 18-wheelers in Texas that are going about without a driver and transporting 18-wheelers. That's quite an unbelievable thing. So when you're looking at all of these and realizing pretty soon these humanoids can build bridges and planes and create them and fly them. So suddenly the power that we have is you're no longer the creator, but you have the remote control to use AI as the creator. And the cost of creation has come down so ridiculously, so absurdly. Is this something that we have ever seen? I don't think so. Based on everything we have learned, is this technology going to be irreversible? Absolutely yes. And should we embrace this? No question about it. Should we be careful about it? No doubt about that. At the same time, what is the humanness left? Well, the ability to build trust with people so that they will actually use your product, security, privacy, all of these are going to be extremely important. And all the human things, feelings, empathy, love, trust, collaboration, as Jim Collins would say, it's the genius of and that's going to work. You should be absolutely inside and an expert in using AI, and also an absolute expert in being outside of AI and being able to interact with people. The human element is going to be extraordinarily valuable. So why we see this as a tectonic shift in the way things are happening? Irreversible, explosive, exponential, because it's built on top of already exponential digital technologies. It spreads incredibly fast. In fact, ChatGPT OpenAI reached 100 million faster than we have seen anything else do in a few days. So that's what we're looking at.